These are the plaintiffs, William and Nancy Sharkey. William says they purchased a puppy from the defendant, and in addition to having ear mites and worms, the poor thing had parvo and had to be euthanized. Needless to say, they were heartbroken by all of this, and the defendant said she would reimburse them for the puppy and the expenses. The woman has ignored them ever since. She did a horrible thing to them, and they're here suing for every single cent of the $1,937.55 they're owed. This is the defendant, Linda Macy. She says she was absolutely shocked and devastated when William called to tell her they had to put the puppy down because of parvo. She felt it was all her fault at first, but none of her other puppies had parvo, nor was it present in her house. That puppy was perfectly healthy when she sold it to the plaintiffs. She has no idea how it contracted the parvo virus, but she does know it didn't come from her or the healthy puppy she sold them. She's accused of bad breeding. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,000 for harassment and emotional distress.
All parties, please use your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
William Sharkey and Nancy Sharkey,
Yes. Good
you are
afternoon.
suing Linda Macy for $1,937.55 in vet bills plus the cost of a puppy, which died in your care how many days after you bought it?
5.
5 days after you bought it. You have a counterclaim against them for $1,000 for harassment and emotional distress. Let me hear from you first. What happened?
On August 22nd, we went over to Linda Macy's house.
How did
And-
you find her?
Newsday, there was an ad in Newsday
Can I see
on
it?
Friday, August the 19th.
Okay.
It's highlighted.
Okay. How do you pronounce that?
Shichi.
Chichi?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
S-H-I-C-H-I. What does that mean?
It's a Shih Tzu Chihuahua mix.
Micro pups.
Very
Vet check
small.
shots, very sweet. So you call her.
Yes, we called and we made arrangements to go and see the dog. And we went over there on Monday, August 22nd, and fell in love with the dog and put $100 down and asked Linda Macy to hold it for us till Friday.
Okay, was there a litter there or just the one dog or what?
There were, we saw one other dog, and she said there was 3 in the litter.
All right, and then what?
Then we picked up the pup on August 26th, the Friday. We paid the rest of the $500. And we,
Why does someone pay $500 for that? Is that like a new breed or something, or what? I mean, we used to call that a mutt.
Yeah,
I have a
No,
Labradoodle,
you're
so I mean,
absolutely
but-
right, Your Honor. It's what's happening in the last probably decade is there are designer dogs, and you mix certain.
Did you breed the dog?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And how many pups were in that litter?
There were 3 pups.
And the purchase price of the dog was $500? All right, so go ahead. What happens?
After we picked up the dog at approximately 4 p.m. that afternoon, we had a health certificate from the VCA Coram Animal Hospital, and we immediately took the dog from Selden to the East Meadow Animal Hospital to be examined.
How big was the dog?
The dog was 2 pounds, Your Honor.
How big does a 2-pound dog look?
Oh, we have pictures.
Yeah,
We can show
would
I
you
see
like
the
to see a picture?
show you two, one with the vet and one with the dog. Here, there she is. Look at her little
So
eyes,
go
and there
ahead.
she is with the vet.
And we took the dog to the vet, and the vet told us the dog had ear mites, which I had witnessed under the microscope.
Okay.
On the 27th, which was a Saturday, I took a fecal sample over to East Meadow Animal Hospital, and that came back that the dog did have worms.
Okay.
Now, on Sunday, August 28th, the dog began really eating finicky and continued. There was
Lethargic.
yes, very lethargic, and there was a pungent odor emanating from the dog, which we learned later was the parvo virus. On the 29th of August, we took the pup to the East Meadow Animal Hospital with a fecal sample, and in the fecal sample was a worm. And
Show it.
if you'd like to see.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I have 3 kids. Not that they had worms in their feet. I'm not,
They were shocked when they saw
Yeah,
this, that
they
this
had
came out of this little dog that was 2 pounds. They couldn't believe it.
what am I looking at?
They called it a round worm.
The worm is on the right,
Yes.
okay?
On August 31st, the pup was exceedingly worse, very lethargic, was vomiting and had diarrhea, and we took it to a Long Island veterinary specialist in Plainview, and a Dr. Parr saw the animal. At 2:30, we received a phone call from the Long Island veterinary specialist and told us that the dog had the parvo virus and there was really nothing we could do. So the dog was euthanized at that point. With the parvo, as according to the ASPCA, there's a 4-day to 7-day incubation period on parvo. And if you'd
You'd
like,
had the dog by then how many days? You had purchased it on August 26th is the day you brought the dog home.
right,
And did you have other pets in the house?
a cat.
Cat.
And had the dog been outside? Did you walk the dog?
No, ma'am.
The dog was very tiny.
No.
The
So,
dog is.
the 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31.
Yes,
So that's 5
5
days
days.
afterwards the dog is euthanized.
correct.
And do you have a report from the vet?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm concerned that the animal died quite that swiftly from parvo. So where are the other puppies from that litter? According to him, you had 2 other puppies from
Right.
that litter.
Yes, Your Honor. I had explained to the Sharkies I was keeping one named Mike, and the other one is with my granddaughter. And
And both those puppies are fine.
fine, they've been checked. I have a vet paper stating that they've been seen since I spoke to Mr. Sparky.
Okay, let me just ask you a question.
Sure.
There is a very quick period of time when this happened. Lots of times I get these cases and it's, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days after purchase. This one is, we're talking about 4 days after purchase.
I had told them that the dog needed shots. They asked me if I would hold the dog until Friday so they could make an appointment, pick it up. I said, absolutely.
Why are you telling me this, though? What is the point you're trying
But
to
the
make?
point is, if they were out looking at other dogs, they could have brought it to me, which was my concern, because all my dogs are healthy. And like I said, they didn't come in.
How would they bring it to you?
Because if they're looking at other dogs, parvo is like the human strain of Ebola. It's a terrible, horrible, very sad thing to say. And it can live on a wall for up to a year. It's that crazy of a canine virus. Cats very rarely get it. So unfortunately, they could have come to me with this.
Well, they could have, but you have other pets there, and parvo
And
is
they're-
it's more survivable if you don't weigh 2 pounds, right? Like if
Right,
the
but I
bigger
di-
the
I don't
dog,
have-
you wouldn't even know they had
I
it.
haven't had parvo in my house.
Right,
And I
but
still
now,
don't.
can you show me something that shows the 2 little puppies getting seen by a vet after
This-
August 31st?
It says on September 14th, I examined, so that's not till October, the following pets owned by Linda Macy: Michael, the 4-month-old intact male, which is a litter
Okay.
mate of this dog.
Let me see that document. That's fine. Hand that to my bailiff, please. On September 4th, okay, the letter's dated October 19th, and it says on September 14th, I examined the following pets. Michael, a 4-month-old intact male Chihuahua. Iggy, a 9-year-old intact male Chihuahua. Petunia, a 1-year-old intact female Chihuahua, all of which were healthy, showed no signs of infectious diseases.
Michael is a
So that's
Chihuahua.
September 14th. That's 2 weeks after that dog passed away. Now, it is possible that one dog get parvo and another dog not get parvo. So I have a puppy
So that
with
should
an
be-
incubation period as quick as 4, because all the sites say something different.
Yes,
And the dog does die very quickly.
It's horrible.
Very quickly.
I was hysterical for them.
I know. And you and at first you told them that you would work out a payment plan and pay them back.
And then
What
they
made you
scared
change
me.
your mind?
I have texts and threats.
Saying what?
Would you like to see my phone? I have
I
texts.
would, but first I'd like you to tell me about them. Tell me the worst ones.
How's your COPD doing today?
How's your COPD, your chronic obstructive
I have-
pulmonary disorder? Yes,
right,
my father
severe
suffered from that.
COPD.
And you were making fun of her for that?
And calling me.
Stop. Were you making fun of her for that?
The daughter was.
I never texted
Did your
her
daughter,
that.
did you raise a child who would make fun of somebody else's severe COPD?
I have it on
No.
text.
Show it to me.
Duran.
Show it to me.
I'll show you the whole text. Her name is
Duran.
Joanne.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, is it possible that one dog in a litter, one pup, can get parvo and the others are all okay?
I would think it's incredibly unlikely, but it's definitely possible since they're in such close proximity to each
But
other.
it's pretty infectious, right?
Yeah, definitely. It can spread from dog to dog. I think it's by touch, too.
What do you say?
I think it's possible, but very unlikely that only one would have it.
Kind of agree with you guys. We're going inside the courtroom.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
We don't know about that
I
one,
say
honestly.
all
I'm
the
going to tell you
time.
about it now.
my
Go ahead.
daughter-in-law
Nancy.
texted her, yes.
Your daughter-in-law or your daughter?
My daughter-in-law, my daughter lives down in North
This
Carolina,
whole entire
and she
thing.
doesn't even know about the dog.
Really? I spoke with the woman. She had told me she was her mother and that she was a vet's assistant.
Backyard breeder, animal hoarder. I hope your COPD is okay today. You kill dogs with parvo.
And I have texts from a stranger around the same
Murderer
time.
with a picture of the dog. Hey, you know, what's wrong with her?
I didn't see
Well, this is
it.
complete harassment.
She called me, and I said to her, if you're calling to berate me, there's no need, because I felt terrible. And I instantly just felt responsible. It was my first reaction was,
Right, but so
This poor
how come
woman-
now you don't feel responsible? I
because
guess?
there's no parvo in my house, and my dogs are healthy.
Right, but there's no other parvo in their house either. So
That they know of. They don't have another dog in their house.
Okay, but you don't have evidence that they have parvo in their house, and the incubation.
they don't have
stop
evidence.
and listen.
Okay,
and
sorry.
it was such a quick period of time. I mean, this is a difficult thing to prove. And you know, I mean, the
She
minute
could have
somebody
brought it to my
I'm sorry,
house
was I
already.
talking? And the minute somebody walks a dog outside, boom, they cannot pin this on the breeder. But we're talking about a thing that's this big, that's being taken, that either it or its feces are being taken to the doctor every day. I mean, they were totally on it, and very, very quickly, very, very, very quickly, it tested positive for parvo. The quicker it is, the worse it looks for you.
Yes.
And it's never intentional. I mean, I know it's not intentional. You know, you can't just draw the conclusion because nobody else has it.
I understand.
2 weeks later that it didn't come from there. It has an incubation period, and the incubation period is usually longer, which means it's more likely it got it, you know, at your place. Do you understand? So the longer the incubation period is, the more likely it is it got it at your place. And let me just rephrase that. The more likely it is that on the day that they picked up the dog, it had it. However it got it,
It
it
could
had
have
it.
been from her clothes, because she, like I'm reiterating.
Because what? Because she exists in the community and had looked at other pets?
Well,
yeah,
other
it could
pets
be.
could have had
But-
the virus.
Right. But see, the problem is that I have to look at whether, one thing, is it unfit for purchase at the time of the sale? The veterinarian says it was unfit for purchase at the time of the sale, and I agree with him because of the fact that there's such a quick turnaround.
I understand.
It's just so quick. Okay?
It's unfortunate.
I
It's
understand
terrible.
why you didn't feel that way, and I understand that it got very, very nasty.
And
What
nobody
is the
ever showed-
harassment and emotional distress that they caused you versus the daughter being so nasty?
Well,
It's really the daughter, right?
Yes, you're
Yeah,
right.
But
It
you
is
can't
them.
sue them
Yes,
for
I
that.
understand
so
that
on your
now.
counterclaim, it's 0, and on the claim against you, based on what I have from their vet, I am concluding that there's 0 evidence that came from them, as opposed to that it incubated and then showed itself, you know, from somewhere where the other dogs were.
Yes.
And other dogs could give it, but survive it easily without a
usually
problem. When
younger,
they're bigger
under
dogs.
6
It's
months.
the younger, tiny dogs like this that become the problem. And I realize what you're saying, that the other 2 dogs didn't have a problem, but
And
based
I
on
have a
what I'm
puppy in my
looking
house
at, that's
now.
it. You know, they have proven their case.
I just want this over with.
I find in favor of the plaintiffs in the amount of the cost of the puppy plus the vet bills, which total to $1,937.55. Verdict for the plaintiffs. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiffs win their case. They collect over $1,900. Ms. Macy, you just said you wanted this to be over right away.
Yes, sir.
Guess what? It's over.
It's over.
You lost.
Yes.
How do you feel?
I feel relieved that it's over, but I still really, my main concern is I feel bad for the people who purchased the dog
Very good.
and for
Okay.
the dog. That
All right.
really was my
That's
only
the key.
concern.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You
Be
have some
safe.
documents you must sign out there, please?
Thank you.
That way?
Take care.
Mr. and Ms. Sharkey, if you'll step out here. Yeah, I think everybody can sympathize with you. It's terrible to buy a puppy and then, you know, have to put it down within a couple of days of getting it. It's terrible. I guess the key is right now, you're going to get another pup.
No.
We can't.
Why?
The
Why?
parvovirus lingers in the house for about a year, and we were told not to get a puppy for at least a year.
Are you kidding? Is that
No,
true?
that's true.
Well, I just learned something.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, I'm sorry you're going to be without a companion for a while, you know? Not
Thank
much
you.
else to say. I'm sorry for
That's
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You must sign some documents, okay?
Take care.
Very good. Harvey, I just learned something. I didn't know that about parvo. Did you?
I did not know that, Doug. I got to tell you, when you buy a dog, there is one thing. A lot of states have adopted these laws that say that you have special protection. I'm not suggesting you do it, but special protection if you buy from a breeder or a pet store. Personally, I think the best place to get an animal is a rescue. I'm telling you, they never forget. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.